At the truck parked outside the dungeon in the desert, Rio and the others rested inside. From outside, a voice called out repeatedly, calling for Rio. It was Suho. He leaned into the truck and urged Rio to wake up. Groggily, Rio stirred, recognizing Suho's voice. Suho informed him that the dungeon had been cleared and asked to borrow his phone. Still processing the words, Rio blinked in confusion. Then the realization hit. The dungeon had been cleared. At the airport, Rio faced Suho with a warm but earnest expression. He thanked Suho sincerely, saying he would never forget how Suho had saved them in the pyramid field. He encouraged Suho to stay in touch, even after returning to Korea. Suho nodded in appreciation, expressing his gratitude for the plane ticket and for being allowed to contact his uncle. Jinho, speaking over the phone, expressed shock upon learning that Suho had been in Egypt because of a gate. He was relieved to hear that Suho was safe, having feared something bad had happened. Meanwhile, Suho reflected silently. His uncle had mentioned contacting an acquaintance at the Hunter Association for help. It seemed Suho might need to visit the association soon. Rio remarked on how strange the situation had been. The crocodile-like magic beast, which appeared to be stronger than an S rank, had left on its own, and then the dungeon collapsed. Inside the shadow dungeon, Suho reflected on the outcome. In the end, Amit's chains had never been released. Bound by the seal, he remained unable to leave the dungeon. Suho acknowledged to himself that, having failed to break the chains, he had also failed to keep his promise. Amit reassured Suho not to worry too much, reminding him that the only promise made was to get him out of the tomb. Though the hooks were still present, their dispersion allowed him to move more freely within the shadow dungeon, an immense improvement over the confinement of the tomb. Suho whispered to himself that Amit's presence felt different now, as if something had changed in his demeanor. Then, without warning, Amit grabbed Suho and leapt to the top of a building. There, he stood still for a moment, sensing something distant. He could faintly feel the vast nature he had long yearned for. With resolve, he pledged to follow Suho, as promised. Suho smiled quietly in response. At the airport, Suho realized the gate in the shadow dungeon and the urgent quest were meant to recruit Amit as a companion. Before boarding, he said goodbye to Rio. Rio, watching him go, thought about how impressive Suho was, a B-rank hunter who could summon for battle and even transform. She decided to contact his guild and suggest scouting him. On the plane, Baru commented that it had been a long time since he'd flown. Suho replied that it was inevitable since the gate to Korea had closed. After defeating the dungeon boss and completing the urgent quest, he had leveled up 7 times. A status window appeared. Name, Sung Suho. Level, 35. Suho asked Baru what his current hunter rank might be. Baru estimated he was around A rank. Suho acknowledged he'd finally reached that level and thought to himself, it was time to begin. The counterattack against Lee Min-sung and the Apostle of Itaram. At the Human Hero Guild's new office building, a guild member remarked on how far they had come, from being a C-rank guild to now owning a B-rank gate in Incheon. Another agreed, noting they'd even been able to relocate their office. Their success, they said, was largely thanks to star powder, which allowed even C-rank hunters to clear B-rank gates. It was now cheaper and easily accessible on the black market. One member expressed gratitude to its unknown creator, while another questioned if it was really safe, calling it unsettling. A teammate dismissed the concern, saying only higher-ranked hunters wouldn't understand its value. Kim Sung-soo brought up that the Hunters Association was considering a bill to ban star powder. Shocked, a member argued it helped low-rank guilds clear more gates, unlike the association, which offered them no support. Before Kim could respond, everyone's attention shifted as someone stepped through the door. TL entered the Human Hero Guild and calmly confirmed that they were the ones who owned the B-rank gate in Incheon. Without hesitation, she demanded they hand it over. Kim Sung-soo, confused by the child's appearance, questioned her, but TL repeated her demand. To everyone's shock, several guild members immediately obeyed, addressing her as Apostle. Sung Su, alarmed, shouted at them in confusion as they rose and acted without resistance. Teal noted how convenient it was that some of them had taken star powder, making them easier to manipulate. With a command, she stripped them of their sight and hearing. Sung Su protested, demanding to know why everyone was obeying a child. Teal explained she was sent by their creator, whose goal was to claim a world without a master. But since arriving, he'd developed doubts. Unlike creations like himself, who follow a single will, humans acted independently. He questioned whose will they were truly serving. Sung Su, defiant, dismissed his words and accused his of being part of a cult. Furious, Teal activated a command, amplify. Sung Su attacked with his sword, but Teal dodged effortlessly and countered. Him strike smashed him into the ground, his left eye turning black as he lay motionless beneath him. Teal restored the hunter's senses, prompting confusion among them, though their memories of the incident had been erased. He pondered the nature of free will, reflecting on how all creations were meant to fulfill the will of their creator. Yet the beings of this universe had defied that purpose and slain their own maker. Deeper within the dungeon, he approached a resting beast, recognizing it not merely as a magic beast, but as a dimensional refugee, a creature displaced and tormented by endless wandering. He granted it permission to unleash its fury without restraint. With growing curiosity, he resolved to continue observing this world, all in service of fulfilling his creator's will.